What's up, everybody? Welcome to CFP Talks. My name is Jonas, and with me, as always, is Mr. David Fuchs.
What
David, this is one of my favorite topics because I
Yeah,
think
it is. It really is. It really is.
I love this because I think it affects everybody, and I think it's one of the things that nobody else really talks about, and I think everybody kind of gives you a strategy to follow, but I don't care what strategy I have. If I start getting panicked, I'm screwed. You could take
Yeah, are
any
you talking about
strategy.
you? Are you sorry? Are you talking about you personally? Are you talking like you plural for like
I'm talking
the
about you
listener right
plural in
now?
general. It's like it is quite literally the Mike Tyson quote that everybody loves quoting Mike Tyson on. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And what better analogy for CFP is like I have my strategy, it's written down. I get into the exam room, I write down all my little cheat sheet notes. Question one, punch it in the face. Everything
Yeah.
out the window at that point,
Yeah, nah, yeah.
right? And then the anxiety sets in, and then you're panicking. You're trying to figure out, oh my god, what do I do? What do I do? Oh my god! And then I start changing answers and doing things that I wouldn't normally do.
And
From
your head's just completely clogged.
well, that's it. You're out of the game immediately. So for for everybody that struggles with test anxiety, let me caveat this by saying I am not a mental health professional. Um, I am not a psychologist. I can only tell you what I know from being in this game for so long, for taking exams myself, for assisting quite a few people in passing exams, as to some of the things that alleviate some of that text anxiety and make exam day easier. And I will tell you the number one thing that I will tell you is throw whatever expectations that you have out the window, because the number one enemy of anxiety is expectation. You're going in with this expectation and it's going to fuck you up because it's always going to be different than what you expected.
So like what do you mean by that though? Like what expectations that you're going to be able to breeze through this exam and
No,
not have any hiccups? Like what do you mean?
no, what I mean, I was expecting four questions on this and it ended up being none. And I
Oh.
expected this number of questions here. So you're going in with this expectation. And we talk about CFP won't test that. That's too difficult. They won't do that. CFP can test whatever the fuck they want to test. So when you're going through your prep and you're going in with the idea that this is not on it, or I hope that's not on it, you're better off going, anything can be on it. And here's my game plan if it does come up. Because if you go in there with the expectation that it's going to be this hard and it ends up being this hard, you're going to be anxious. And if you're going the expectation that's going to be this hard and it's this hard, you're fucked on question three,
Oh yeah.
right?
Well, I think the other way you're probably not as fucked if it's
Yeah,
not as hard as you
if
think.
it's going to throw you off your game. You're right. You're more likely to rebound from that one versus
Yeah.
the other one, where that will knock you on your ass right away.
Yeah, and out. No, not
Out.
and on your ad. It will knock you out. Like you're
Mm.
out of the exam at that point. But I think one of the ways, first of all, some people, I wasn't really like this to be honest. I mean, obviously on big exams, everybody's gonna get nervous, or on big things in your life, like everybody, you're gonna get those butterflies. I never had like specific anxiety about taking any exam, whether it was like high school or college. And not that I was some super star stud student. I was a good student. I wasn't a stud student, but I never felt like totally like there are people out there that in my opinion, it's not a myth. They actually have legit anxiety when it comes to schoolwork and homework and exams and stuff. And I think on this exam, it probably widens the net for how many people are going to feel like that because this exam is so much significantly harder. So I think one of the things that you need to understand with this exam is you're gonna be anxious, you're gonna be nervous, you're gonna feel thrown off at times, and you gotta kind of just roll with it on
Mm.
this exam. and just know that it's going to happen. But there's also going to be times on the exam where you're going to feel like Superman.
Yes.
And the thing that I would tell you there is when you're in a slump and you're feeling anxious and you're feeling, insecure when you're taking the exam, just know that that's not permanent and it's only temporary and it's going to change. And when you do get that Superman type feeling, just ride that shit. Like when the iron's hot, you got to strike it. So just ride that wave as long as you possibly can.
I love that advice. I'm going to give you another piece here. I'm going to tell you guys this. Okay. And one day they will put this video in the CFP Hall of Fame. Okay. Because this is a piece of advice that out of everybody listening, 1 out of 5 of you will actually take this advice home and really internalize it and do it. Treat your mock exam like exam day. And I'll tell you,
Baby, we've talked about that before.
no, and I'll tell you why. Here's the more subtle thing that happens.
I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
Here it is. Most people think they do the mock exam seriously,
Mhm.
right? I sat down, I did it, and they do it in a casual environment. They do it in a coffee shop. You do it when there's noise around you. You do it when your kids are walking into the room. You do it at and this is the thing, the subtle thing that happens. When it's just you and that Prometric computer, doesn't have your email, doesn't have your calendar, there's no break, there's no pop-ups, there's no notification.
Yeah.
That's when the freak out sets in because now this is
Mhm.
so fundamentally different than
Yeah.
the way that you did things.
Right. Right. So, yeah.
So if you rehearse it, you're going to realize your worst case scenario because if you can go and recreate that and really give yourself the opportunity with a true mock exam, take it in a true exam setting, meaning everything on your computer is disabled except the
Right.
Prometric window. There's no email, there's no iTunes, there's no shit. I'm dating
There's
myself.
no Google to like kind of look up the answer. Because I'll
Correct.
be honest, like when I was taking it a couple times, not really with you, but there were times where I was taking mock exams and I'd be like looking up answers while I'm doing it.
Right.
And I remember like I'll be like, why did I just do that? That's not helpful at all.
No. And the thing is that you can't help it because
No,
and
because you want to get it
in
right. You
right.
want to get it right so your score is better on your mock, even though it doesn't matter.
That's right. But even with that being the case, and that's such a great freaking point, dude. You don't even know how fucking prophetic that just was, my man. Like you want to do better and it makes you feel better, but in the
Yeah, but it
back of
doesn't,
your
there's no,
but in the back of your mind, I'm kind of a fraud, right?
yeah,
Right.
100%.
Right. And then so then
Yeah.
you go into the exam and you freak out because you're like, and here's the one thing that I want to make sure that you understand. Effort is not the same as replicating the exam. You trying hard on that exam, but still kind of doing a couple lookups and having, your Outlook ding and familiar sounds and familiar people, that is not the exam because
Yeah.
that room is different than anything else you've experienced. And if you
Yep.
replicate that room and you truly do the mock exam where you're putting yourself out there to really see what your score is. And I know that's scary. I don't really want to know. I want to know, but I don't really want to know what my score is.
I never wanted to know.
Right. And so I'd rather just leave it to chance on exam day. Well, what do you think is going to happen? Like we
Right.
all know that in the back of our mind, that's probably not the way to do it. So I urge and I encourage you guys to really, really that mock exam and transferring that to your studying, where your studying is truly focused. There's no distractions. You're on it. There's no TV in the background. There is no noise. There is no music. Like if you can do that every time, even if you're doing shorter quizzes and you start replicating that,
Right.
going to serve you very well. You're dead quiet. There's nothing around you. It's just you in that quiz. And the more you do that, like anything else, I'm very nervous, like doing this podcast. The first couple episodes I was nervous as hell. And I don't know if you felt that way, but like, it's a nerve wracking thing to hear people are going to listen to your words and there's a very big chance that people look at this video and go, wow, Joe and David are freaking idiots,
Yeah.
right? And leaving nasty comments.
Small chance.
Right. I
Small.
mean,
Ch- Yeah.
minuscule. Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I wear pink. Come on now.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like you do that. You get up on stage, you present in a work meeting, right? The first couple times that you do it, it's nerve-wracking because all eyes are on you. And that feeling of all eyes on you. And I remember this the first time I did a weightlifting competition. And no matter how many times we practiced in the gym to get ready for that competition, the room is dead quiet. All the judges do is hit a buzzer. Everybody, literally, you walk out onto the platform and you look out and everybody's staring at you like this, like just dead on you. And you're like, oh my God, like I'm going to mess this up. I'm going to mess this up. And then you do a couple competitions and then you kind of go, I'm used to it.
Right.
And for certain people, they're gonna love that. They're gonna love that everybody's eyes are on them, and they love that. But for some people, they're gonna love it. For other people, you're gonna tolerate it. But you have to get into the room. You got to get in the arena because the only way to get better at it, and you see it, athletes who start off their rookie seasons terribly, and then they come on at the end of the season, the lights are really bright. And
Yeah.
if you can recreate that in any shape or form, you're going to do yourself a big service to your anxiety on that day.
Um,
So, with that being said, we hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. With any questions, comments, or concerns, we'd love to hear from you. And we will see you guys on our next episode. Take care, everybody.